Hello, guys and gals, and this is Vlog Friday, and it's number 27, apparently. I'm sorry if my voice is a little bit fried. I just got done recording 3 hours of book reading. I read 2 hours out of that book. Oh, I just lost my page. Drat. And 1 hour out of that book. And this book is done. Anyways, I'll be able to find the page again in there, I hope. But anyways, that was a comic moment for sure. Okay. Anyways, this is Vlog Friday, and before we get started, I want to talk about intent. Now, intent is basically, my definition of intent is reason. Intent is the reason why we do things. It also known as intention. If it's done on purpose, it is intentional. So basically, when dealing with crime, like what a person's intent was, whether it was an accidental crime or intentional or on purpose, you typically would compare a person's previous actions with what happened during that event. If somebody, say, robbed a store, but, and they also had a history of robbing stores or a history of jail time, then you could basically assume that was on purpose. No one just walks into a store and robs it, not intentionally, because that just doesn't make sense. Maybe there is a case of self-defense, a death in the case of self-defense. Someone was defending themselves, so somebody ended up dying. Then in that case, they would take the formula of saying, well, has this person been violent in the past? And they would look at all the evidence and work through that. The thing about intent, though, is that intent doesn't show up on a person. It isn't like a scar. Scars basically tell a story about past experiences, but intent doesn't work like that. Intent basically can only be viewed and resides in the heart, theoretically speaking. And people can't exactly look into a person's heart and know what their true intentions are. So, dealing with people, you basically just have to take things at face value or read body language or stuff like that. Anyways, why are we talking about intent? Well, intent is really important. It's really important to consider intent. In the past, I've talked about instances where maybe a person loses their temper because they were cut off in traffic. And it might not have been the person who cut you off's intention to cause you distress. They could have just been distracted or focused on something else and not really paying attention, which probably sounds kind of dangerous if you're kind of not paying attention while driving. So that's kind of a bad example. But you can kind of see it like that. One example is, excuse me, like I say, I have been talking for 3 hours straight. So anyways, one example that I can think of is ants. And you're thinking, why ants? Well, I'll tell you. Okay, at least during the summer, or when the ants are actually out and not underground, they're just doing their ant things, and there's like billions of ants on the planet. They outnumber people like 5,000 to 1 or something. I don't know the exact amount of population of ants, just basically because they're small and there's millions of them. Anyways, from the perspective of an ant, if they were, as sentient as humans were, a person stepping on an ant or several ants just while walking, they could get upset and think that the person was doing it on purpose. And there are people, that hold magnifying glasses over ants, to catch them on fire and stuff like that, which I don't condone in any sense of, I don't condone torture or anything like that of animals or insects of any sort. But there are people that do that. And I always try to avoid stepping on ants personally. just because they're just going about their own ant things. But anyways, but two, if ants were as sentient as humans were, then they might take offense to getting stepped on, or well, they'd be dead. But the next of kin or whatever would probably take offense to that, when the person stepping on them probably wasn't even paying attention to where they were going. That is one way that that's the way that I see intent. There's always two ways to go about it. Anyways, we're going to go over we're going to have some final thoughts on that. But first, in this day and age, it's really easy to be depressed, with the pandemic wrapping up finally. At least things are starting to get back to normal. It can still lead to depression, and there's still uncertainty and stuff like that can basically bring down a person's mood. Anyways, one thing that you can do to help combat the symptom, I have to say symptom because this probably won't help, the overlying cause, but you can do something you enjoy at least once a day, and you have to make sure it's legal. I'm not going to condone anything illegal because laws are put into place for a reason. But if you, and you also have to make sure it's within your dietary wheelhouse. I mean, I'm not going to condone diabetics eating chocolate cake that is like loaded with sugar. I know firsthand that doesn't really do well for diabetics. But anyways, and I don't suggest people who have celiac disease or are sensitive to gluten to eat something that has gluten in it. But if it's within your dietary wheelhouse to have a treat or something to pamper yourself and stuff like that, something that will make you feel good, maybe watch a movie that you really like, or stuff like that. Treat yourself to something nice because it'll help you to feel better. Number two is there's always someone who cares, and I always mention this because it's true. There is always someone who cares, and it can always seem like no one cares, especially when there's so much impersonality with social platforms, social media and stuff like that. You can seem like adrift in a sea of humanity, and it can seem like nobody cares, but the truth is that people do care, and it can really help your mood if you know that. It can help you cope a little better. Number three is if you are suffering from an affliction, there's no shame in seeking help. This is also really important. This can go for physical injuries. I mean, granted, you're going to seek help if you have a broken leg or something like that, but it also applies to mental illnesses like paranoid schizophrenia or borderline or bipolar. All of those basically, I think, require medication in order to cope adequately. And there's really no shame in seeking help and finding a way to make yourself feel better. Now, I do realize there are people that can basically cope with depression without the need for medication, and that's really amazing, and I really admire those people. But there are also a lot of people who can't cope, and there's no shame in seeking help. No matter how bad things get, there's always hope. Again, we want to hold on to that hope, because as long as we hold on to that hope, things will always, go okay. It can really seem there can be some pretty hopeless situations out there, but overall, there's always hope, and that's what matters. It just can be difficult to hold on to it, but don't give up. Number 5 is societal tags and labels are pointless. People are people, and we always need to see past the superficial, that everybody has a part to play in society. No matter how small their part is, they all play a role. And that's also something to consider if somebody makes you mad, that people are people and that people are human and that people make mistakes. And it doesn't matter what religion they are, or what color their skin is, or what they believe, or anything like that. People are people regardless of all of that. Number 6 is be yourself. There will never be another you, which is another really important point. People are all unique. Everyone has unique opinions and viewpoints, and are all equally valid. Anyways, you should always be yourself, and you will find that your friends and your family will accept you the way you are. The most important people on Facebook, I don't mean Facebook, I mean YouTube, well, on Facebook too, they're themselves, and they embrace who they are, and it's really worked out well for them. Everyone has unique qualities, and if you copy somebody else, then you're not meeting your full potential. Number 7 is always to think positive thoughts, and that is also a really important point, and it can also be cathartic to think positive thoughts, to see the best in all situations. And I'm not meaning this the sarcastic, well, I'm positive this is going to be a bad day. That's not what I'm meaning at all. My arm went to sleep. Okay, there we go. Anyways, it can be sort of like a placebo effect too, except it actually works. That to basically always think positive thoughts, and it isn't always possible to think positive thoughts, especially during some situations, but it's always for the best. And the power of positive thinking is really powerful, and there have been studies done to that point. Anyways, speaking of intent, though, you should always give people the benefit of the doubt. I mean, the legal system is always innocent until proven guilty, and people can't actually see the intent inside someone's heart. So it's always best to give someone the benefit of the doubt. And I know this one was kind of quick, actually, a quick vlog, but I hope that at least one person found it helpful. I make these videos because I'm trying to make a difference, and I enjoy making videos. That's why I post 3 videos a day. And so yeah, I only ask that if you found this helpful, that you like and subscribe and ring the bell so you know when I upload. Also, if you want to support me in any way, all the information will be in the description below. Everyone is awesome, and I hope that this video finds you well. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.